Hey guys, so a few things I'd like to go over with you with Paisley before she heads home. Figure I'd give you some tips and pointers. First thing I would like to talk about is using her leash inside the house. So as you can see, I have her slip lead on her, and really what that's going to do is help you guys follow through with what commands you're asking of her. So if she doesn't have a leash on and you don't have a way to reinforce what you've asked her, what's going to happen is she's going to start to realize sometimes they make me follow through with what they've asked and sometimes they don't. And sometimes it takes them 5, 6, 7 times of them saying the word before I actually have to do it. What we really want her to understand is the first time I ask you to do something, I need you to do it. So instead of saying Paisley come, Paisley come, Paisley come over and over, you're just going to use her name until you get her attention, followed by the command that we'd like her to do. So Paisley, Paisley, come. Good girl. Sit. Yes. Right? So I used Paisley until she turned and looked at me. Okay. Okay, Paige. And then once she's paying attention to me, I follow through with what I need her to do. The leash is going to allow me to have a way to either step on it or if I'm holding it to make sure that she does it and she doesn't just run off from me. Another tip I'd like to talk about is using her food as a way to do training. So I also threw some training treats in there also, which is great as kind of just a reward every few minutes if she's done really good with a set of commands. I give her a few little training treats or just one training treat. But using her food during using her meal during training is awesome. The old saying, don't bite the hand that feeds you. So she's going to really start to respect you guys if she understands that resources come from you and they come when she does what she's asked. So it's really important for dogs to have a job, like we've talked about. They were not just bred to be our pets. Huskies, as we all know, were bred to be sled pulling dogs. And as we know, that is a very strenuous job. So not only is it very laboring where they have to do a lot of physical work, but it's very mental work as well, which is so important for dogs to do. If you don't do a good set of mental work with her every day, she's gonna drive you bananas. And I always say a good example of that is quarantine. So when everybody was in quarantine last year and they didn't get to go to work on a daily basis, they all got stir crazy and they were driving each other nuts in the house. Our puppies are going to do the same thing. If they're bored and they don't have any way to give their brain some kind of stimulation, they're going to be bored. So it's important to give your dog mental exercise as well as physical exercise. If you just do physical exercise on a daily basis, all that's really going to happen is you're going to start building an athlete. She's going to be able to run further and she's going to have more endurance the longer you guys run her for. But if you do, 30 minutes of some physical time and then you do good 30 minutes or so of mental exercise, she's going to be a lot calmer. And I always say a tired puppy is a happy puppy. Another thing that's important to remember is she is a baby still. She did canine kindergarten. She didn't do an off-leash program. So I always say that training is like a ladder. We start at the very bottom of the ladder, just teaching her sit means put your butt on the ground. Then we go to teaching her a release word. So it's going to be sit, okay, right? So then after she understands the release, then we go to sit, stay, adding a little bit of a stay to it, and then okay, and then releasing. So we're on, taking tiny steps. Then we can go up to Paisley, sit. Paisley, sit. Right there, I'm adding a little spatial pressure, and we'll go over that. Good. Stay. Okay, so we added a little bit more time on that one. Then we're going to go to adding a little bit more distance, getting further away from her. Then we're going to start doing it outside where there's more distractions and a lot more sense. But when you go outside, remember you're going to go right back to sit. Paisley, sit. Good girl. Okay. Quick releases. Sit. Yes. Okay. Good. Sit. Yes. Okay. Right? So we do quick releases with her, make sure that she understands, and then when we're outside doing that, then you're going to go to doing it at a park on like a Tuesday when it's really quiet and there's not a lot of people to distract her. Then you're going to go to, and this is of course over a good span of time. This isn't over a week or two. This is something that you're going to practice with her as she grows up and matures. We can't expect a puppy to have the same maturity level and the same drive as a adult dog where they can mentally understand longer spans of time. Like kids, they're easily distracted. They can't really like sit there for long periods of time. So we give them a lot of breaks in school and stuff like that. So it's really important to understand as she grows up. You don't want to rush anything. As she proves that she has made it, she has understood that one level on the ladder, then you can take it to the next step. And that's also important for you guys to practice that too, because if you don't take it step by step and you don't know how to get her to do a sit stay in the house when it's just two of you there, just one-on-one with her, then there's no way you're going to be able to get her to do a sit stay at a park on a Saturday, right? So I always tell, not with my puppy owners, but with my, adult dogs that have done an e-collar program, I always say your dog's ready to go to Disney World if you're ready to take them to Disney World. And 100% of the time I get the answer that they would not be ready. So even though your dog understands what these commands mean now, it's up to you guys to practice those commands with her so that you guys build a working relationship, and you grow a stronger bond together by working together rather than just giving her like a cuddle relationship, right? She needs to understand that you are the alpha in the situation. What you say goes. It's very important. So again, when we use our leash in the house, it's always great because you can step on it. I always recommend when you're practicing commands, it's important to follow through with commands when you're working with them. But if you're not doing a training lesson, I typically recommend not throwing in a come command when she doesn't have a leash on and she's just romping around the house just playing. I wouldn't start calling her name. If you call her name and you get her attention, that's great. But I would just kind of do like, Paisley, oh, he's a good girl. Who's a good girl? He is a good girl, yes. Right, so I would do that instead of trying to do a come command if you don't have a way to follow through with that command, which is going to be a leash. Because what happens is the only way you're going to be able to reinforce if you don't have a way to have her come to you is you're going to have to go to her, and that defeats the whole purpose of a come command. Come means stop what you're doing and come and sit at my feet. It doesn't mean I'm going to come and get you and drag you by the collar wherever you need to go. So that's typically what I do for our puppies. Once she gets older, if you guys decide you want to do an off-leash program and add an e-collar to that, it's really simple because she's already learned what all of the commands mean. You guys will just be overlaying it with a second tool to be able to do off-leash obedience with her as well. So Paisley, come. Yes, good girl. Sit. Excellent, Peanut. Okay, place. Okay, place. Yes. Okay, good girl. So happy. She's such a happy little thing. Paisley, place. Place. Going around in a circle. This way. There you go. Okay. So following through with your commands, making sure 100% of the time she does what you guys ask her to do, using your leash in the house, potty training. We'll go over that more in detail when she comes, but it's going to be 100% of the time. It has to be watch or confine. She needs to be with you on a leash where you guys are monitoring her 100% of the time. If she has the opportunity, okay, Paisley. If she has the opportunity to use the bathroom in the house and you guys didn't notice it, that is a clear indicator that you guys were not paying attention to her enough and she had the choice to use the bathroom in the house. We cannot allow her to have that option or the opportunity to wander off and use the bathroom when she needs to. I would much, much, much rather you guys take her out as much as possible, even if it is every 2 hours. If she needs to use the bathroom that much at this age, stinks, but it is what it is, and I would much rather her go to the bathroom and alleviate herself outside than having accidents inside and you guys getting frustrated. It's okay if she goes out often right now. She's not going to learn that I get to go out every 2 hours, especially if you don't make it like a playtime when you go outside. You strictly go outside. You tell her, Paisley, go potty. When she pees or poops, you say, good girl, make a big deal out of it. Give her a hot dog as a high value treat. And then you just go back inside. Don't make it a playtime situation. It's strictly potty time. Okay, so if she is not out in your sight, you're going to put her up in her crate. So that, well, unfortunately for her, for you guys, she does use the bathroom in her crate, which is, I agree, is annoying. But keeping a towel in your crate helps. That way, at least you can kind of just swoop it up. And she also tends to cover it with the towel as opposed to rolling in it or just laying in it. And she didn't seem to chew up any towels that I've noticed, which is great. So, Paisley, come. Yes, good job, sweetness. Sit. Good girl, sweet pea. So there you have it, guys. There's some good tips, some things to kind of just get a little bit of a head start on your lesson. That way you can kind of reference back to this. And if there's anything that you forget, you can kind of watch this to help you through. Hope that helps you guys. And let me know if you have any questions on anything tomorrow. Don't forget to take some notes. If you're welcome to take some notes along the way. You're such a good girl. Sorry, you're welcome to take some notes and jot down any questions that you guys have on this video or about anything at all. And we will cover that in your take-home lesson. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Say bye, Paisley.